Assalamu alaikum. This is Megan Wyatt answering your question here at About Islam. So first I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you healing and ease from going through a traumatic episode and struggling with anxiety and depression. Inshallah, you can continue to seek treatment and support so that you can pull out from the very difficult place that you've been in. So regarding your rights, you've mentioned that you're a convert to Islam, and while you were in the hospital, basically after having a breakdown and being, told by a psychiatrist that you're completely not in sound of mind, your husband divorced you. And the episode you said that led up to this was that he was constantly accusing you of things, and he himself has a lot of anxiety, and you mentioned trust issues, and he accused you of having cheated on him and kept pressuring you and 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 pressuring you until you finally caved in and agreed, and that resulted in, it just sounds like, a total mental breakdown of some kind on your end, because the whole experience was so upsetting and traumatic for you to go through. So both of you are struggling, and both of you, first of all, definitely need outside support and resources in order to get help and to heal, because a marriage cannot survive if you have somebody constantly accusing the other person of cheating on them and lying to them and cheating on them and manipulating them, and his level of mistrust being that high. No matter what you do or how good you are, which you mentioned, that you're always trying to do romantic gestures and cook and be there for him and basically, serve him as your husband. No matter what you did, it's not going to be enough if his level of anxiety and his trust issues are so high. No matter what, you'll just end up constantly having to defend yourself and change yourself and alter yourself in order to prove that you're good and to prove that you haven't cheated and to prove that you didn't lie. And that's going to be a really unhealthy situation for you to be in. And, obviously that's not the foundation for a solid relationship. A relationship is built on trust, and a relationship is built on respect. So unless there were specific things that you have done that would lead your spouse to believe that you genuinely have done something that would be hurtful to them, this kind of dialogue, and this kind of accusatory language and things of this nature are going to be very, very harmful for you and for the relationship itself. As for your rights as a wife, you ask, can he already kick you out of the home while you were in the hospital before you even divorced? And the answer is no. But for questions that are of legal nature, definitely, if you can't travel to the city to see your imam, just call your imam. Like, we have phones now, right? We have a million ways to reach people. Pick up the phone and call your local imam. Let him know that it is urgent, that you need to have a video conference call with him or a phone call with him. There is no reason why you can't have a conversation with him if he is, in fact, the most important person for you to talk to right now. Because you do need a religious authority, I think, to explain to you your rights and teach you your rights. But I want to say something really important here. Convert or not, right? Born Muslim or converted to Islam, rather than asking, what are my rights in Islam, I'd like you just to use your common sense. Does it make sense that any man would ever divorce his wife while she's unwell in the hospital, then try to kick her out of the house and try to, and basically mistreat her? I don't think you have to know your rights, quote unquote, in Islam to know that this is wrong, right? The point of religion itself is to bring people closer to God. And the closer a person is to God, the better their character, the better their treatment of another person, especially a husband to his wife. So even if you weren't going to be together, the Quran has a number of very explicit and detailed verses about treating a woman with kindness and mercy, and not turning, a wife out of her home because separation is, inevitable and coming down the road, rather to treat a woman with kindness. But I just want to give you the confidence in yourself to know that no mistreatment of a woman is ever sanctioned in Islam or ever allowed in Islam. Islam is a very practical faith, and it is a very merciful faith and way of life, and it is filled with kindness and mercy and mutual respect. And so anytime you're experiencing someone who is being disrespectful to you and treating you with harshness or, unkindness or not in a merciful way, then just already know that that's not the Islamic way. Even if you don't know the verse in the Quran, the statement from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, even if you don't know these things, trust your heart and trust your intuition. Just trust your common sense that these are not things you should have to tolerate. So for specific legal rulings, please do call your imam if you trust him, or find someone you do trust. Please learn what your rights are. But most importantly, you're saying that you love him and you're hoping that you guys can work things out and get back together. There has to be a shift for you to get back together in order to prevent you from being harmed again. And so what I mean by that is love isn't enough on its own. Even if he said, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have done that, hey, I messed up, let's get back together. That's not enough from where I stand in terms of being a relationship counselor. And the reason I say that is because people don't just change because they're sorry. Your emotional well-being, your physical well-being, and your spiritual well-being, and your psychological well-being are a concern for me. And so for you to be well means you have to be able to be in a healthy environment. And to be in a healthy environment with a person who has been the direct instigator of such a traumatic experience for you for the time you've been married needs to get professional help, and it has to be a condition from my personal perspective for you to say we're going to get back together. So I'm saying even if he initiates an apology, even if he says I'm sorry, let's get back together, even if he says, oh, I shouldn't have done that, apologies or just love, they're usually not enough to change a pattern of behavior that's been well established over a period of time. It can be enough to show that there is remorse, but with true remorse comes the desire to change. And even though it's very difficult for a person to admit they need help, it's very difficult for someone to admit that they can't do it alone, because people often think they can. But again, an established pattern of behavior reflects the inability to do something on their own. A sign of loving you, of caring about you, is saying, hey, I need to get some help to fix this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to honor you and to take care of you and respect you. Love has to be translated into action that shows respect and shows care and kindness and mercy. So I feel for the guy, he's got major trust issues and a severe anxiety. So I'd like to see him free of that. And the only way for him to get free of that is for him to get some professional help to help him break free from whatever beliefs he has, whatever experiences he's had in the past that causes him to go into this state, to become really controlling and to treat you in the way that he has. So again, love on its own or remorse on its own isn't enough. So stand up for yourself. If you want to get back together with him, if he's interested in negotiating this possibility, there needs to be conditions. And that condition is that he needs to get help. And I would also say that you continue to seek the professional help that you have started now, whether before the hospital with your diagnosis or now at this point. You both need and deserve to have someone help you both break free from whatever it is that's been weighing you both down, so that you can have a healthy relationship. But please don't try to go this alone, or the next time, what could be the consequence or the cost to your well-being of being hurt again by the same individual. So stand up for yourself. Trust your own intuition. I think you know what's right and wrong. And Islam is a very practical faith. So know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would never let you be mistreated and someone say, well, that's what Islam is about, because it's not. So may Allah guide you and help you in this path. And take care. Assalamu alaikum.